Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Stephanie. I am your dog expert, including certified canine nutritionist, and we are here with another dog food review. We are doing authority by request. If you have something that you'd like for me to review, drop it in the comments. But even if I have done your food and I didn't review your specific recipe, remember, I cannot review every single brand, every single recipe. There's just way too many of them. My goal is to teach you what to be looking for in a dog food. Okay, so like I said, we're doing Authority. This one is owned by PetSmart, which is interesting, but I couldn't find a bunch of information on it. It just seems like a pretty generic brand. We're gonna first start off with the Life Stage chicken and rice. This ingredients list is not looking very good. No greens. Normally I may put chicken. I like to see chicken as the first ingredient, but they deboned it. I like to see bone meal somewhere in here and knowing where that meal came from. Then we got chicken meal, which is a already processed form of it. We got lots of grains following it. And then especially when you start getting processed grains like that corn gluten meal. Chicken fat I used to put in yellow because it's inevitable, but just because it's inevitable in kibble doesn't mean that we shouldn't have it. Natural flavor, that can be God knows what. Salmon oil, I did put in yellow. I do like to see a salmon oil, but I'm afraid to see it in a kibble because the fact that it's going to oxidize, go rancid, and start causing bacteria is pretty high. But this is not a great ingredients list. We have a protein content of 26, which is not the worst, but I do like to see that higher. This is like my bare minimum here is 26. And then doing our calculations, our carbs are anywhere between 43 to 50-ish, which is pretty high. All right, let's go ahead and look into the adult version of the beef. Kind of the same sad story here. No good whole green ingredients. We got some processed meat already, and then we got lots of different grains, processed grains. There's not one thing in there that I can say that I love. Now, some of you guys might be wondering why I don't go over the entire list. I typically go through like the first 10-ish ingredients. I see the dried carrots and the freeze-dried peas. That's probably the best ingredients in here, but of course, once we get to salt, anything after that makes up less than 2% of the bag, so it's not even worth my time. We got the same protein content, so we have the same amount of carbs, 40 or about the same amount of carbs. I think something in here is different, but 40 to 47%, still pretty high, more carbs than protein. I had to do this one because it's got a schnauzer on it. But the same thing, no green ingredients in here, lots of grains, lots of starchy grains. Canola oil, that's like one of the biggest things I see that, and I run in the opposite direction. I was able to capture everything else on here. Unfortunately, when I'm reading this, I can't read my protein content because my little record button's right here, but 43 to 50% carbs, still more carbs than protein. I want to do this one because it's gut health, so let's check that one out. It's still kind of the same sad story. The only thing that makes this a gut health one is the fact that they have that dried Bacillus coagulans fermentation product in there. My question though is how effective is that actually in a bag full of kibble, which has gone through a very big heating process? Depends on when they put this bad boy in, depending, on where they put it in the process. But also the longer that this sits in a bag, most probiotics have to be like temperature controlled to be the most effective, so I don't fully know how actually effective that is in here. Same protein content, 26%, and then we see a couple of other different things having different amounts, so 47 to 54% carbs. So all in all, I do not like this food. I think it's very low quality. I think you can do so much better. Price-wise, I didn't even really look at it. I saw that there was about like $54 per bag. I wasn't paying attention to how big the bags were though, but obviously this is a very generic brand. I'm gonna give this guy an F. I didn't see one green ingredient in the ones that I looked at, so F.